enjoying our new format this year, a little bit different than we've had in the past. And and once again, I want to thank you to this year's State of the Village. And I also, Romeoville would like to take credit for spring right now, since it's finally arrived. And to hopefully make you all happy, we've kind of truncated a little bit of today's program in order to move along, and hopefully you'll enjoy the weather and the season as it's now become part of it. With that, let me first say that a successful village is only made possible by contributions of a lot of different people. And I'm very fortunate to work with an amazing group of people in our village board and our clerk. And so with us, and I want to introduce them all. First of all, we have Trustee Linda Paulmeyer. Trustee Joe Chavez is not with us, he's actually on a work trip. Trustee Brian Clancy is with us. Trustee Dave Richards. Trustee Ken Griffin also couldn't be with us today. Trustee Lou Aguirre. And also not able to be with us today was our clerk, Bernice Holloway. So let's give them all a round of applause. Yeah, let's all make sure technology works, my friend. Yeah, it's working so far. And this technology is brought possible by a lot of these people as well. It's not just the elected officials, it's the staff. We have, representing our entire staff, our department heads here today, and they all would rise just to be recognized. I just specifically want to thank once again our village manager, who's really our team captain, and if you know him well, you know that that's a good fitting description of him, because he's a sports enthusiast. Though I think he got rained out on a certain opening day. But I want to thank all of them, and see, technology might not be my friend, for everything they do. Also, they're working on it, I'll keep going. I want to thank my family. As we all know, families are the key to all of our success. And with me today is my wife, Jennifer. She our son Sebastian, who's with us here because he's at school today, but fantastic. And for those who don't know, he's now, I know it's going to shock many of you, he's already 6½. He's getting ready for his great debut in a production of Beauty and the Beast. He will be a teacup and villager. Though I don't know how he feels about his little villager costume, though I think it's fantastic. I'm very fortunate to have them both in my life, and hopefully that I will be fortunate enough for this projector to go back on as well. Once again, I want to welcome you. This is the 28th annual State of the Village here in Romeoville. It's actually my 10th. Talk about time flying by. My 10th annual State of the Village. And again, we hope you enjoy this new format. We actually had an earlier date in February, so yes, the weather is much better now than it would have been. And so we're excited because it gives an opportunity to, there we go, really some live feed, showcase some of the different things that are going on in the community and some of the businesses. So we hope you enjoyed this format, and we'll look at possibly doing that again in the future. So we're going to begin with a little bit of kind of what's been going on in 2017, and I'm hoping some people catch up to me. And so with that, just right off the bat, we're going to talk about our budget. And everybody's heard about communities and their budget situations, and so I want to talk about what's happening here in Romeoville. We're about to complete our budget year for the 2017 budget cycle, and despite the fact that both that the state has taken away revenues, we've seen additional mandates. We also had planned on using some of our reserves towards some major capital projects that we wanted to accelerate, like the metro station. And so we had originally planned on using some of our reserve money, and then the state, through taking away local government distributive funds, taking a percentage of the sales tax, created other opportunities where we were potentially going to lose money. Now, despite all of that, I'm happy to report that we are projecting to end the year with nearly a $1 million surplus, and we're going to actually be able to forward fund several different capital projects that we might not have been able to do otherwise. This is all because we still have growth. We saw our sales tax grow despite all of that. We also are going to, as we go into this next budget year, I'm happy to report that once again we're going to be able, there it is, it's back, it's great. We're going to actually be able to reduce our levy once again, as we did last year and again this year, for our residents. So we're continuing that trend of reducing our levy. And again, this is despite the harsh economic climate that we continue to see here in Illinois. This past year, as you can see from the chart, we had about $92 million of added value through permitting in 2017. And, often residents and businesses ask us about where the money goes. So the chart that you see before you right now shows a few different items that I'd like to highlight where the general funds is actually spent. So, as you can see from this pie chart, almost 40% of all the revenue that is spent goes toward public safety. It's important to note where that revenue goes. Now, I also want to point out the fact that as we continue this year, our fund balance now will stand the money that we have in reserve at $25.3 million. That is a 130% increase from when we took over in 2008. We've added that much into our reserves. All of you and many people in this room and beyond this room deserve all the credit for that. It's a big group effort. 2017 was a good year for new businesses. Once again, we saw 103 new business licenses, or businesses come into the community. A nice mix. We're looking at some of these, some of the ones I want to talk about that are here with us today, and they can surprise if they want, as I say them. Tram Cup Pumps here. We'll be hopefully doing an actual ribbon cut. We haven't done that yet with them here shortly. It's a family-owned pump company. Another one in our community. Also, some new restaurants. One which is highlighted here today and serving, and that's Doc Watson's. You see some of the other ones that have come. And these are just a sampling of the many of the 103 new businesses that came to the community in 2017. Also, jobs. Jobs are vitally important. And once again, we exceeded over 1,000 new jobs created in our workforce this year. And since 2008, the workforce in Romeoville has more than doubled. It's actually a little more than doubled. So we're very proud of that. And if you also look at over the last year, our EAV increased another 6% and now stands at roughly $1.2 billion. Our bond rating continues to be stable. In fact, actually, in the last 5 years, we have been upgraded twice by the bond rating agencies and continue to have a positive outlook. Now, anybody who picks up a paper knows how difficult that is in the state of Illinois, because one of the things that is actually contributed to your bond quality is the state of the state. And that drags down just about every entity in the state of Illinois. The fact that our community has gone above and beyond that and actually had increases and continues to have a positive outlook says a lot about what's happening in our community. We also received our fourth EDU award, and for those of you who are not familiar with the EDU awards, the EDU awards are a State Chamber of Commerce award for economic development. In fact, we are the only suburban community to have received this award 4 times. Only the city of Chicago is the only other community to receive it. We also got our 4th consecutive award for financial reporting. I want to thank Kirk Opachowski and his team once again. They do a fantastic job in doing that. And interestingly enough, another great statistic that are out there that we haven't even talked about yet is our crime rate went down 8% in 2017. Very good. Education is a big part of our success. And so I want to talk a little bit about some of our education partners. And one of the first ones right off the bat that had a great year in 2017 is Juliet Junior College. And I know that a lot of them are here today as well, joining us, but I want to thank Dr. Mitchell and their entire team. As you can see in the picture up here, beside me on either side, is their new expansion campus here at Romeoville. A 40,000 square foot facility. It now makes this campus virtually self-sustained. In fact, I don't know if they looked into it. It must be one of the largest satellite campuses of any junior college anywhere. In fact, it's probably bigger than some colleges. In fact, I know it is. And it's just an amazing asset. It's over 40,000 square feet. It was a $23 million investment. They just did a fantastic job. They've been a wonderful partner in this entire process to bring this to our community. Now, anybody who's been around knows that Lewis University has literally been a part of Romeoville's success from almost the beginning. And it continues to be for decades. And Dr. Livingston's here. I saw him sneak in by me real quick. And ever since he's taken over, that partnership has only continued to become a bigger and better one. It always has been, but they broke ground not too long ago on, as you see pictured in the middle, their new student center. That's moving along. We're very excited for them to have the ribbon cutting on that later this year. And they've done some great innovative things. You see a picture, they did a program. They have one of the most advanced drone programs for a university in the country, if not the world. And they did a program where we went out to Romeoville High School and they actually delivered acceptance letters via drone, and we think it's the only time it's ever been done like this, to students. I want to, again, and then just recently too, they won a Department of Energy Cyber Defense Award like in the last couple of days. They are just doing very cutting-edge things at Lewis University, and I can't wait to see what else they come up with in the near future. So, again, thank them for everything they do. Valley View School District, we're proud to be the headquarters of Valley View School District. Now, we have a lot of other school districts. We have other higher educational institutions as well that do a lot for our community, but I told you we're trying to streamline a little this year. But some very notable things with Valley View School District, and Dr. Mitchell, who's here with us today, and his team do an awesome, amazing job. But some of the things that happened this last year is they opened their new early childhood, expanded early childhood center here in our community that now is able to provide services to 400 kids throughout our communities, ours and Bolingbrook's. This is really advanced. This is cutting edge stuff. Not too many school districts get involved in that many children's lives and families' lives that early in the process. And I often tell people, and I'll tell everyone again here today, I am excited to see where the school district is in another decade. The early intervention that they're doing, the cutting edge things that their approach they're taking to get involved in children's lives really. As a father of a 6.5-year-old, I know how important that is. It's great for our communities. And also, they opened a new administrative offices, again, here in Romeoville. As we said, we're happy to be the headquarters. And there were several other things, including, as you can see, a new solar program. We're going to talk a little bit about solar later in the program as well. But one of our buildings was also one of the buildings that they included new solar panels. So thank you again to Dr. Mitchell and the entire school board that's here with us today, President Quigley and his team, and all the members of the school board at Valley View School District. Now, talking about Valley View School District, something that I really wanted to hone in on, we're going to talk about if we go in the rest of the program, we're going to talk about development a lot. And we're also going to talk a lot about industrial. Everybody knows there's a lot of industrial in this area. And so we want to talk about, residents often ask, what's the importance of that industrial? And I think this chart really shows us what it means to a community like ours and to a school district. So using Valley View School District is just an example. This is where the revenue Romeoville contributes to Valley View School District comes from. And as you can see from this chart, nearly half of all the revenue that Romeoville sends to Valley View School District comes from non-residential sources. That is a very good percentage of because as you can see, 41% comes just from industrial. That's 41% of the pot that is being paid for by entities that do not put kids in the schools. They don't require services from that school district. So they are helping to support the school district in that way. And this is vitally important. These are just 2016 numbers. Wait till we get the final 2017 numbers. We are on a trajectory that more than half of all the school district's money that comes from Romeoville will come from non-residential sources. They're virtually, it's hard to find too many communities around that can say something like that. And I must say, since Mayor Claire's here as well, I've seen their numbers are great too. So, but the two communities together, this is what makes a school district like Valley View able to go on that positive path as we head forward. So, let's talk about industrial. Because there's a lot of you in here that are going to help out with this. So, let's talk about some of the things that happened in 2017. Venture One completed a 271,000 square foot spec building on Schmidt. At the Romeoville Business Center by Siegfried, you can see their new building at 283,000 roughly, and this building's already been leased to J.D. Hunt. Will actually do all the fulfillment distribution for Ross stores out of this facility. Pizzuti completed a new 416,000 square foot spec building at the intersection of South Creek and Taylor Roads. Also, we had a building that was completed by Duke, a 150,000 square foot building. And this one in the Paragon Business Park, actually, and you can see it up there in the corner, as Arctic Coolers is taking that building. And so maybe in the near future, we'll have some coolers at this event. Who knows? So we're excited to have them join us here in Romeoville. DCT completed a 140,000 square foot building on what was once the old National Fiberhouse. And anybody familiar with that old site, it was underutilized because of the nature of the business, it was contaminated. They took on that endeavor and overcame it to give us a new modern facility that I'm sure they'll lease up here in short order. CN Group recently completed this building right here at 33,000 square feet, a little on the smaller side for what we've seen lately, but this one is also already leased, and that one is leased to Triton Logistics. Very exciting to have that happen as well. Then also, Panattoni completed a 670,000 square foot spec building on South Creek Parkway. Now this one's interesting because it is the first building built on airport property. It's actually the Port Authority's property, and at least from the Joliet Regional Port Authority. And another exciting project from them. 13,000 square foot building by Opus Group, also in their final building in the Paragon Business Park. And I know they've been leasing up as well. And then at the Romeoville Commerce Center, which is by Hillwood, they've completed a couple of buildings, and there's two more to go. But two of those are already leased, one to Sealed Air, and the other to D.S. Smith Plastics, which is actually their second building. One of the things we continue to see is demand for growth on companies that are already here in our community. So that's some great things that we are able to announce. So let's look at some of the other highlights that came out of all of this. Two of our businesses in 2017 were highlighted by cranes, I'm happy to say. In fact, one of them is Maggie Glove, a great partner of ours, and they are at 166 of privately held companies. This is the list of Chicago's largest privately held companies. And then Floorstar, also at 245, also one of the Chicagoland's largest privately held companies. Now, speaking of Maggie, and I said I was going to talk about solar, and I'm talking about solar, and you're going to hear them talk a lot about solar, because what you see there pictured is 10,500 solar panels, and these are going to go on the roof of their building, and this will be the largest private solar roof project in the Midwest ever built, far exceeding any of the ones you may have heard of in the last few years. It's a very exciting project. I'm sure they would love to have anyone who wants to go over and get a tour and check this out. They'll be happy to showcase it for you. And it really is an amazing thing. It shows you what the great things and endeavors that industry can do and our private partners can do for the environment, but also for their own needs. This project will provide 100% of all of their electrical needs. And they're a manufacturer. For those who are not aware, they manufacture personal protective wear, gloves, a wide range of things. It's fantastic to have in our community, and they're a true innovator. So, commercial, new constructed commercial in 2017. We had Romeoville Smiles Dentistry, great addition to our community, opened up on Another Road. Here on the Route 53 corner, just in front of this building, we have the Romeoville Retail Center, and you can see the tenants that occupied that. This building on the 53 corner was fully leased before construction was finished. We've told people repeatedly the 53 corridor is where to be as we go forward, and it's true. There's a demand for quality new development in the Route 53 corridor. Also, Romeoville Express Car Wash. Now, for the animal enthusiasts, they have dog washes in here. It's like even bigger than the car wash, because there's actually an area for you to go watch your dog, your pets. And we're very happy to have this join the corridor. Also, right next door, brand new Thornton's. You know, at first people were like, hey, it's Thornton's. Now it's probably one of the busiest places in the corridor. People don't know what they did before we had it there. And they did a fantastic job. Thornton's really put a lot of effort to make this into a quality first-notch facility for us. So, let's talk about some of the things still under construction that started here in 2017. I'm really just kind of going to wrap up here as we go into 2018. This is the new Murphy's gas station. Now, they kind of got caught because winter came, and so people are like, why wasn't it finished? Wait for these asphalt plants. I know a few of you are in here. They need to get you guys to get rolling so they can get finished. Also, one of our more exciting announcements from the past year is Romeoville Toyota, brought to us by the Thomas family. They're moving along on their project and hope to have that completed here soon. On the residential end for 2017, we had Redwood Place, which continues to construct and move forward. They completed 31 more single-family houses in that subdivision. As you can see, Greenhaven Duplexes is almost virtually finished. There was another permit pulled. There's only a couple of lots left on this development, so that'll be coming to conclusion as well. You know, you hear a lot about demand and quality of rental living. Here in Romeoville, we actually have a very strong rental market, both in single-family homes that are for rent and for larger scale multifamily residential. The Springs brought us our first higher quality apartment living, and I'm happy to report they are already fully leased. It's just been amazing to watch. I don't think anybody thought that they would be at this point this quickly. Also, 2017 saw some very important village projects. One of which is our new Animal Control Center that you see here. It's almost complete. And this is very special because, the care and take of animals that are displaced from their families is important. But a lot of our community members came together in companies to help fund this project. And so I want to thank CT Realty, the Callahan family. I also want to thank Orange Crush, Continental Properties, Romeoville Toyota, and Lee Fry companies that most of which are here with us today. I want to thank them for helping contribute to this and to this project so we can move it along. Another project that residents had asked us about for a while since we opened our amphitheater behind Village Hall was having other amenities at that facility. And so we decided to invest in actual permanent concessions and outdoor restrooms so that the facility can be utilized more year-round as well, even when we're not having concerts. And so this project is near completion as well, and we'll be having a ribbon cutting on that shortly. And one of the bigger, more exciting projects that we worked on in 2017 was Discovery Park. And I see a little bit of drone technology. Yeah, some new things here. And so Discovery Park, which is the developed portion is 31 acres. We have additional space on the site as well for creek natural space. And this is just kind of off the intersection west of airports and Weber roads, and it includes multiple new athletic fields. One of the growing, among many sports that are demanding more space is flag football, which has grown exponentially, soccer, many sports. And this facility will allow us to have many of those that space to accommodate those new sports and interest in them and their growth. We were able to do this in part by some grants that we received. So we'll be having a ribbon cutting on this as well shortly. And with this project and some of the smaller ones we did, in 1 year, we doubled the number of athletic fields between practice fields and actual competition fields that the village has in 1 year. So I want to thank all our staff that were a part of that. It's a fantastic thing. Please give them a round of applause. That was really something. Some of the programs that we announced not too long ago that continue to be exciting is our Romeoville reinvestment program that does a number of different things. It helps people reinvest in their homes, business owners. If you have a home business and you want to go bricks and mortar, we help with grants and funding for that. We help veterans and seniors through this program. And to date, this program, since its inception, and we didn't announce it that long ago, has already contributed to completing $300,000 in total project value since its inception. So it's been a fantastic program, and we continue to hope it does so as we go forward. And one of the other partnerships that came out not too long ago is a partnership with Will County Senior Services. They were looking to do satellite space. We had some space at Village Hall. We said, why don't we work together? And that way we're providing better services for seniors in this part of the county and for ours specifically. So we did a partnership, and now they run Will County Senior Services satellite office at our facility. We're proud to have it. Another thing that residents had asked for a number of years, and that we had to work on to find the right spot for, was a community garden. And we're happy that we were able to partner with Lockport Township Park District, who's here with us also today, in providing this site on theirs, where the village and the Park District work together to provide community garden space that our residents can use. Now, there is another one, and I'd like to note that there's one that in partnership with Plainfield Park, the township, that's just the other side of our jurisdiction, is also available. So there's some great opportunities for those who want to get involved and grow their own food or be a part of that. So let's talk about 2018. What are we going to be doing? So, village projects. As I said, we'll be rolling out the new budget actually next week. We're going to cut our rate. We're going to be doing some great things. Yes, the state's going to continue to probably take money from us, but that's not going to stop us, because we're doing great here in our community. And so, we're going to be doing over $12 million more in capital projects. We will be working on a new well and ion exchange plant. We have at least $2 million in street projects and repairs. We also, one thing that the residents have really enjoyed is, if you haven't noticed, as we continue out from this site and grow the reinvestment around the Route 53 corridor, is new decorative street lighting in the older parts of the community. And actually, we'll be fixing some problem street lighting throughout the community eventually. But first, right now, we're focusing on Hampton Park. Some of this lighting has been there since it was installed, probably in the 50s and 60s. And now we're able to reinvest in these parts of the community, and that, along with the Romeoville reinvestment program, we're seeing a renewal and rejuvenance in this part of the community. One other thing I'm going to mention, it's down here at the bottom, is high-speed internet. It's kind of, we didn't want to remiss mentioning it today, but you may have heard, we had MetroNet come into our community, and over about the last 2 years, they have installed a fully fiber optic system in our community. Now, they have it in some of our neighbors as well, and they're starting to move to other places. So Romeoville today is a fully gigabit service community. Everywhere. Every residential unit, every business now has fiber capability. But I'm excited to report, underway as we speak, Comcast will also be taking Romeoville to be fully fiber optic. We will be probably the only community that I know of in the suburbs or anywhere throughout Chicago that has 2 fully fiber optic systems available to its residents, to its business. We are one of the most connected and high-speed communities anywhere. I really can't say this enough. Transportation is what we do in this area. Yes, there are negatives with it, but there's positives as well. And so we always talk about it briefly. So let's talk about Metro. Exciting new ribbon cutting. If you're out there, it was a little chillier than it is today. But we got the new Metro station open in February. And we're going to get to show you some aerials here of that as well. If you haven't been out there and get an opportunity to go out there. Now, here's the really exciting thing about this. We opened this up, and we were able to do this with grants, land donation from CITCO, some grants from CMAP, through the CMAC programs, also through the state. This is a great partnership with a lot of different layers of government to open this station. But here's a really exciting part. We were at capacity in 1 week. We sold all the permits in less than a day. And we were at full capacity in a week. No one ever would have thought that was going to happen. What it does is it proves, and some of my colleagues who also have stations along this line, is that the demand is there for public transit in this region. And we need to continue to work as partners with Metro and the state and the feds to bring more public transit to this region. Because our residents want it, they need it, and the demand is there. So, to that end, I'm happy to report we are working with Metro right now, and we are looking to more than double the amount of parking starting this year. Phase 2, which we didn't think would happen for a couple of years, is going to happen almost immediately. And beyond that, we have room to go even bigger, but we're going to more than double the amount of spaces, and hopefully you'll see announcements on that coming very soon. So I want to thank again Metro. I can't say enough about our partnership with Metro. They have just been an amazing partner, and we hope that we continue to have this success and show that there's need for more service on this corridor as well. Web Road interchange. Now, this is probably something, it's almost kind of been a joke. Well, it has. Because every time I think I say that it was going to actually be bid, it would get delayed, and probably after about 1.5 years of delays, maybe 2 years. It has actually been bid. These are the recipients of the bid. The project is actually going to be started. In fact, it already is. Utility relocates are already underway. Meetings are ongoing with all of the partners that need to be a part of this construction. You're probably not going to see the massive part of the construction probably until the first part of next year, but you're going to see a lot of the staging and continuation of some of the preliminary stuff, like I said, which is already underway. You may have noticed some signs have been removed from the corridor where the road has to be widened. There's a pipeline already being moved. This project is going forward and is underway now. So I'm not going to lie, it's going to be bad for a couple of years during construction. But once it's done, it's going to be fantastic. For those who are not familiar, it is a kind of a transversing diamond interchange, which if you've been up to Route 59 and 88, it's very similar to that site. So if you want to see what it's going to look like, it'll be similar, except for ours, it's going to have a lot more pedestrian-friendly features, which is something that's going to be a little different from that site. And so this will be underway. They're going to do their best to continue to maintain as much capacity as possible during construction. And our staff are working with them. I want to thank IDOT. I want to thank the county, many of our representatives from the county that are here today for getting us going. And they've been good to work with. And we look forward to getting this thing underway and completed as soon as possible. Now, another exciting project is, I've talked about in the past, but it's really becoming more and more real with each and every day, is a new air traffic control tower at Lewis Airport. For those who are not familiar, it is the largest airport in Illinois that does not have controlled airspace. This is not only good for economic development because it helps attract more corporate and executive flights to our area, not passengers, so everybody at home can rest easy. You're not going to see 737s dropping down there anytime soon. It's not going to happen. It's not designed for that. But this will make it the air traffic controlled above the airspace above our area, which will help with safety issues, but also help us attract higher caliber corporate flights into our area as we continue to market the region, not only our community, but the whole region for corporate headquarters. Now, residential going into next year. We have our second higher caliber apartment rental community with coming to us. This Village Place is on Romeoville Road by Edward Rose and Sons and S.R. Jacobson. They're fully underway as we speak, and we'll be moving very quickly here over the next few months. As I said, the other project is already fully leased. So if we keep at this pace, I don't think it'll take them long either. Also, High Point had a small space that they could finish out in the interior core of their development, and this time they're doing something a little different. These are live workspaces. It's only about 72 of them, so it's not a huge project, but these are a little different. So somebody who wants to start up a company in their home and wants to live there, these are designed to do that. We don't see a lot of this in the marketplace, so it's pretty innovative, and we're excited to be partners with them. But as we look toward the future and we look at the things we're putting in place, if you think about this, you have this opportunity. If you're young and you want to start, if you're in any point in your life, you want to start a company, you do it in your home. And then when you want to go bricks and mortar, what I talk about? The Romeoville Reinvestment Program. So we can help you go to bricks and mortar. And I'm going to talk about some other programs that we have at Lewis University here in a second as well. With our incubator program, I'll go ahead and say it, where we're going to help you with business incubator. We are trying to create the businesses of the future as well, and we do it by each little piece coming together to create the whole picture. On a different side note, Romeoville Historical Society, excited. They're hopefully going to be finishing here shortly their new permanent home, something that has been a goal for quite some time. They were fortunate enough to receive a very generous gift and allowed them to invest in the site. And so Romeoville, this will be right on Belmont, right off of Route 53. And if those are not familiar, we have an amazing historical society here in Romeoville, and they do a fantastic job. They have so much knowledge and resources. So having a permanent home for them to showcase will be fantastic. So that'll be opening here shortly. Now, as I said, we do industrial. I'm not going to lie. It is what we do. So industrial for the coming year. B&W Truck will be building a new truck testing center, as you can see here on Parkwood. The new Interchange 55 Logistics Park, for those of you in the industry that I know are here, this has got a ton of coverage in the industry trade press. Will be a new project for Bluff Road. There are two buildings that are pictured there, 107 acres. Panattoni will be completing another building. And in fact, actually for Panattoni, this is their 12th building with us. And this will be on Pinnacle. It will be a slightly more than a 400,000 square foot building. Also, Duke has recently acquired quite a bit of property along Railway Road, and the first project, as part of their airport logistics center, which will be right up to the airport on nearly 77 acres, they were going to be constructing a building that can go up to in excess of 1.3 million potentially. Also, we have, and this is a project we talked about in the past, which is the Gateway Project, and Abbott Land Corp is working on, and they're already moving very quickly. And another site, Thornton's, is actually going to build a different type of center here, geared toward taking and doing the diesel fueling in our community further away from the population, and moving it up toward the industrial parks. And also, they've got IDI building a speculative building on this site, and it's really going to clean up and enhance. For those who are not familiar, this was an old construction yard site. It was polluted. It had been a quarry, a fill, any number of things. It had problems. And these guys had to take on all of those issues and women and overcome those in order to build this site. And so we appreciate this becoming vibrant and an economic engine for our community once again. And it'll also include a rebuild of the intersection of Joint Road and Route 53 that will now be a four-way intersection, which is a multi-million-dollar rebuild that was badly needed for that intersection. Another company coming to the community is Viga Design. Now, Viga is kind of interesting. They manufacture and install, as you can see from that minute picture on the semi, they do fleet vehicles and they do coverings for fleet vehicles. So they're building a ground-up facility that will accommodate and be able to do that. I mean, this is everything from cars to box trucks to semi-trailers. They do all of it. And so we're excited to have them come to our community and build this new facility. Another exciting one we just talked about is Illini Precast, a new, amazing partner that's joined us. and they took over what was really a blighted situation on the Route 53 corridor and really engaged us almost immediately, and also in partnership with Lewis University. And you can see the renderings here. Illini Precast is going to donate some of the walls you see, and this is going to be part of our south end of our Route 53 beautification plan. I want to thank Lewis University again for their contribution on this project. This is going to change the face of Route 53 on the south end of our community. Lewis University has a beautiful campus. If you've never been out there, they're recognized for their commitment to trees and the way that the university looks, but this will make that gateway into their campus even that much more desirable and beautiful, and also for our entire community and area. So I want to thank Lewis and Illini Precast. They've both been great partners. Illini Precast actually makes those stamped concrete walls, and from our industrial friends that are here today, it'll be nice to have a provider of all that sitting right in our backyard. Lewis University corridor, again, it's just going to be something we just can't, that'll be for generations to come. Commercial in 2018. I want to be happy to report that Genesis Healthcare is coming near into the uptown development area, and they're taking that building for their facilities here. Now, some of the new stuff in Route 53, and they're here with us today, will be Joe, and this is new and hot off the press. Joe's Beverage Warehouse will be joining the Route 53 corridor. They will be going right next to the Express Car Wash on the intersection of 135th and Route 53. New ground-up construction, continuing that reinvestment in the Route 53 corridor. This will include a new 11,000 square foot liquor store for their company, but also they are developing the site with another 4,000 square foot of retail space to lease out. We're excited to have them join us. They're going to be doing this is going to be a very nice facility. They're going to be doing some very exciting things. They're going to be doing a tasting room and some other stuff that they're hoping to do. It's going to be a very nice facility for us. Also on the Route 53 corridor, Checkers, and in fact, this just came up, it'll be before the village board next week, and it just went through planning and zoning for its final approval. Checkers will be building almost literally across the street from us right here where we are today, on what was once the laser car wash site. It has been cleared out, and so we're excited to have them join us in the corridor as well. And I'm happy to report that the village board just recently passed an agreement that we hope will pave the way for Ross to be joining us on the Weber Road corridor and what was once the Office Max site. We should have final news on that in the coming weeks. And also, one of our great partners that's here with us today, Metal Monkey, continues to expand. This is one of those great success stories, actually one of the inspirations for our Romeoville reinvestment program, because the local people living their dream, investing and growing. So they're now going to more than double their space. From the time they started, they've now got into bottling, they've got into canning, and in fact, when they did one of their last rounds of bottling, Benny's and other liquor stores started picking them up and bought them out and put them everywhere. So it's nice to see a local company and a manufacturer. We don't forget that breweries like this are truly a part of our manufacturing portfolio, and it's nice to have local people building a company and putting Romeoville's name on it. B Brothers will be opening shortly. They started hiring already. They're getting close to being completed. And we talk about things going back into space, which I just talked about on one of the projects before. This is the old Applebee's site. B Brothers, another local regional family from the Joliet, Billings, Mokina area that own businesses down that way are coming to Romeoville and opening up this. Two of the brothers of the family. Very exciting. They completely remodeled the inside. I can't wait. I won't give it all away, but it's going to be a little different. So we're excited to have them and another restaurant option in our community. Also, talking about the sites coming back into the portfolio along Weber Road. CVS, I'm happy to announce, we will be submitting plans moving forward as throughout the year, and with construction to commence probably earlier part of next year for what was once the Outlot gas station corner in front of the old Dominic site, 135th and Weber. They're building a new CVS. I know a lot of our residents had inquired, and a lot of people that use CVS, and I know they've been wanting to be in the corner for a while. We're happy to get this deal done and have it open here in not too long for everybody. Also, very exciting is the doghouse. I joke, I say it's Pasadena's version of Portillo's, because when you hear doghouse, you think, hot dogs. It's not just hot dogs. You're gourmet, hot dogs, sausages, hamburgers, beer garden. We are lucky. We're probably the first suburban area this far out from the inner core of the city to get one of these. They're a growing company. They're very, very trendy, and we're excited to have them join us and pick us as I think their fourth location in Illinois. So they've closed on the property. They'll be moving forward with the final plans here shortly, and we hope they'll be underway and under construction within the next few months. And also, adjacent to that are two more potential lots. Can be reconfigured in a couple of different ways, but the partnership developers who are working on that hope to move forward not too long also on some retail buildings to go along with that. And again, this is the northwest corner of Weber and Renwick Roads. And also, to note, there they are. my crowd from Grand Haven is very excited to hear all of this. They'll also be happy to hear that the village also, on a footnote, bought the monument sign that is at that corner, a very large one, and we will be working to reconfigure that site, and with a new entrance sign for our community in the coming years. So, also across the street, basically, moving north from that site. Now, everybody who's familiar with the old S&Q storage facility, we're across from the Walgreens in Weber, just north of Renwick, right there at Gaston and Weber, actually, is U-Haul purchased the SQ storage facility, and they're actually finishing the rest of that site, but they've also purchased it's beginning the process of building an enclosed, environmentally controlled 3-story facility adjacent to it. And this is just their first. It's going to get a little nicer than this, trust me. There's probably some brick and some other things on this before it's all said and done. But we're excited to have them come in and utilize a site that was also kind of a troubled site, had a lot of issues to overcome, but U-Haul's taken over the whole facility. It's going to be a first-class facility on that site. Also, a company's been with us for a long time, and we're excited to see them grow and get their own place, because I know it's been a goal theirs for a long time. And I know Tom and Linda and their team are here with us today as Allegra. For those that I know, they've just been an integral part of the chamber, our community, our community groups. And they are the kind of companies, and there's many of you that are this way. So, they're another example of a family that gets involved, and we're happy to see them get their own facility. And I think they have a little rental space too. I'll give them a pitch on that too. So they're building that out, and it'll probably won't be too long before we're over there. Also, speculative office. It's like something we don't even talk about. Speculative office space. We broke ground on the new offices at Wyndham Park, which will be a 40,000 square foot speculative office building. And I'm happy to report that WeatherTech has now joined us here in Romeoville and purchased their first building at 1355 Lakeview Drive, who will be joining us as well. Another project that we recently announced is the Holiday Inn Express and Suites by Hospitality Gurus, which is a new 4-story, 96-room hotel near the Weber Road interchange at I-55. And then something new that I'm going to announce today, that will become the village board tomorrow, is we have a tentative deal to name the rights for our amphitheater, which will now be known after that as Romeoville Toyota Pavilion. It's an exciting partnership that will bring in tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the program, allow us to reinvest in the programming and the successful concert series and other events that we do at this venue. And it's a nice continuation of the partnership with Romeoville Toyota. Now, our partners from Velmere and Cape Commercial here today. One project that we've kind of kept at the back burner and happy to talk a little bit more about today and we'll have a lot of news in the coming months about as we continue to work with them to get more of the details on this as we move forward, is a new project at, and you can see kind of the rendering coming up here. There we go. A new project at Normantown Road and Weber Road, just south of the Speedway at that location, and an empty lot, which will be a new entertainment, hospitality, and restaurant and retail development on what is a little over 16 acres, with a potential main tenant of a movie theater or entertainment user. Like I said, we'll add more detail to that in the coming months. As you can see in the rendering, and this is one potential layout. There are a couple of different variations, but we are aggressively working with them and have a lot of activity going on about this project, and probably will be one of the most exciting things that we do as we go through 2018 to 2019 in terms of new opportunities for our residents and the types of things that they hope to see. But, as I always say, there's going to be more to come. In fact, actually, if we look back from what we announced last year to what occurred over the rest of the year, there are always new things that we haven't quite gotten to, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of announcements, and you'll be wondering, to come, because there are always things that aren't quite ready yet. So, but I also want to thank everybody that makes today possible, especially our team, and we'll show you a wonderful little picture here, hopefully, of them coming up here. There they are. Our team that helps make this, put this together, especially Don Caldwell, and I want to thank Candy Roberts, and I want to thank the Marine Corps Junior ROTC from Romeoville High School. I want to thank the Village Romeoville Television. I want to thank our chamber, of course,